What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Daniel A. Nelson Podcast Show. This is the place where we play and talk about the music you love because music is universal and we want to get away from all the craziness that's going on right now. But I'm so delighted today because I have my good friend. She not only look good, but she sounds good. The girl can sing. Give it up for my guest, Betina Norried.
Thank you so much.
What's been going on? How you been doing?
I'm good, trying to stay cool from this heat.
Oh my
Just got back
goodness.
from Palm Springs
Whoa,
and
my
I'm still
goodness.
warm. Yeah, it was 117 yesterday and we were
Whoa.
outside by the pool. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
And I was complaining about 91 degrees.
It's still
Oh
hot.
man.
Yeah,
It's still hot, my goodness. Like that's why I'm
definitely.
doing this show from outside. I just figure I get outside. So if you hear a couple of airplanes, I'm over by the airport. So you hear airplanes and
Nice.
helicopters and stuff, so
Smart.
be it. But
Yeah.
I want to dive right in because I've been knowing you for quite a while. It's been what, about 10 years now?
Has it been that long? I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think I met you. Yeah, filled in for a gig
Yeah,
at
that's
Paula
right.
for the New Year's Eve gig in the daytime.
Yep, that's right.
And as soon
Crazy.
as you opened up your voice, you had me. I said, "Oh, Kenny, you're right. This girl can sing." So there's a difference between singing and singing.
Yeah. Bang.
Yeah. Tell my
That's
audience, where are you from? How did you get your start? Okay, where are you from, first of all, and then what? How did your relationship with music begin?
yeah. So I'm originally from Pico Rivera, California,
Okay,
born and raised.
all
Um,
right.
literally lived there my whole life until I got married, and then moved to the next city over, so not very far. But ever since I was little that I can remember, probably back to maybe like 6, 7 years old, I
Wow.
just remember loving music
Okay.
to the point where I would sit and record all the time, just like like voice my own voice stuff,
Yeah.
and I would mimic everything I heard, on the radio, and I would literally put on little shows in front of in front of the mirror. Or for my family, they would say, sing me a song, and then I would go into, singing a song for them.
Man.
Yeah, and then I think when I was about 10 years old,
Uh,
my older cousin, she was in show choir in her high school, and I remember going to
okay.
watch her perform, and I just was so taken back by it. I was like, I have to do this. And so the moment that I got into, because it was the same high school that I was going to be going to. So the moment
Okay.
I got into that high school, I said, I have to audition. And I
Uh,
think that's kind of where it really started for me. I was
okay.
14 and I remember being in a huge room full of young girls auditioning for the all girl beginning choir.
Okay.
And the teacher, she said, is anybody brave enough to take the solo on the song for everyone and just sing? And I'm like, me. And I just remember
Oh,
like belted it out. And all the girls were like, we don't want to sing after that. And I'm like, no, stop. I think it's just because I was so used to singing. And you
yeah.
know my voice, I have a loud voice. I
Yeah,
can't
but
help
no,
it.
yeah, no.
It's very
Ladies and
strong.
gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, no, she has a very smooth, sultry voice. I'm telling you, if you guys can see some of her stuff. So, it was your cousin that really inspired you, huh?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Just and the funny thing is that she wasn't a singer. Like she's not necessarily a singer,
Okay.
but she was at a new school and that
Mm.
was her way of making friends and joining
Mm.
activities.
Right.
And so because she didn't have a lot of friends, she would bring me to her rehearsals, and I would sit there just in awe of everything going on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is so much fun. And it's all surrounding music. And I already
Yeah.
had this love for music. And yeah, I sang in that choir for my whole high school life, my whole 4 years, to the point where even after I would go back and help volunteer and
Right.
teach songs, routines, whatever, it
Yeah.
just made such an impact in my life that, yeah. I mean, it was all surrounding the music, but yeah.
Right, right, yeah. Now, outside of your cousin, does anyone else in your family sing or play an instrument?
Not direct where it's like that's their main thing.
Really?
Right, but
Wow.
I was always told that my grandmother would sing and write music, and I never got to meet my grandmother, my mom's mom.
Oh
She
man.
passed away before I was born,
Yeah.
but they said that she would write a lot of music and she loved to sing. So I'm assuming that's kind of where I got
Okay. All right.
my love for music. Yeah.
All right. Now, are there any other people, like any other celebrities that might have inspired you? What type of music that you listened to when you was growing up?
My biggest love, as far as like the genre of music, is R&B soul.
Okay.
That's kind of where I really realized like, oh, this is like me. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. It
Okay.
speaks to me. Um, I've always loved it. And then as far as specific artists, my favorite artist is Music Soul Child. So I've seen him a few times. Yeah, I have all his albums. I love his music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really love his music.
That that's weird because a female vocalist. I mean,
I
most of the
know.
time I ask somebody, they shout out Aretha Franklin, Shaka Khan.
Right.
I mean, I know you love those people because you do
Yeah,
a lot of those
absolutely.
covers. But I'm just saying, for you
Absolutely.
to say Music Soul Child that's wow.
It's funny because I get the same reaction from everybody when I tell them that. They're like, really? I would think you would say, like Beyonce or Jasmine
Yeah.
Sullivan, which I'm like,
Right.
yes, yes to all of it. But
Right.
but for me, like when you ask me who's your favorite artist, I'm always gonna say Music Soul Child. My
Yeah.
number
See, and look, y'all, I've been knowing this lady for 10 years. I didn't know that. No, see, I'm telling you, we're gonna dig in deep. We're gonna
one.
dig in
Yes,
deep.
absolutely.
Now, do you play any instruments?
I don't. I wish I
Okay.
did, but I don't. I've
What would be
tried
your
and I
instrument?
just, huh?
What would be your instrument if you played the instrument?
If I had my choice that I could say like I could just pick up the instrument and just start playing, would
Yeah.
probably be a bass.
Really?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
bass guitar. I love it.
Yeah.
But then I also love acoustic guitar
Okay.
and drums.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what is it about the bass that sticks out to you?
I don't know, when I'm listening to music, I just feel like the bass line jumps out at me all the
Yeah.
time. And it makes me just go, "Oh, this bass line is amazing."
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
And
that
you go ahead.
no, no, I was gonna say I think it just calls out to me for some reason. I don't know,
Yeah.
I really enjoy the bass.
Okay. Because I know back in the '60s and the early '70s, I know the bass line was a prominent instrument, uh, and the reason why because you can tell every song pretty much by the bass line. And then drums are so important too because
Hmm.
those intros on different drums, situations like I don't know. I know you're familiar with Ohio players, but
Hmm.
there's this one song that they do, uh, Fire.
Oh
That
yeah.
certain drum line, it's just
Yeah.
you just know it's fire. So,
Yes,
but
absolutely.
yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah.
That's cool. Um, your first original gig was with the choir. What was your first paying gig?
My first paying gig would be with the band that I've been with the longest, Sondu.
Okay.
When we started the band, we actually had more English than Spanish, and we got hired to play at a car dealership for,
Wow.
yeah, they did like a sale. It was like Memorial Day where they had, their sales going.
Okay.
So they wanted some live music to pump people up. So that was literally my first ever gig with a cover band. Yeah. And I was nervous, of course, because, it's funny because I never actually wanted to be, it's not that I didn't want to be in a cover band. It just
Right.
never occurred to me to be in a cover band.
Okay.
And my friend Ralph, who's actually still in two bands with me now,
Okay.
he started the band with a few other guys, and he was like, "Hey, we need some background singers, are you interested?" And I was like, I don't know, because my son at the time was only 6 months old.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't know, he's like, it's really not going to be a lot. Like, we might have rehearsal like every few weeks, if anything. And then our gigs right at that point were like once every like 2 months.
Okay.
Very like very spaced out, very sporadic. And then, obviously, as you know, that
Yeah.
was almost 15 years ago.
Wow.
And yeah, and now, we're playing, 2, 3 times a week.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now, did you have any vocal training?
No, no, not specifically, other than just with my music teacher,
Okay. So,
just doing choir stuff, but nothing specific, no.
so what is your warm-up process when you're, getting your voice all together? I mean, I've seen it, but I want my audience to know. I've seen you do some things.
It's very unorthodox. My
Yeah,
my warm up
I've seen you do some things.
my warm up process consists of the mornings that I wake up. The moment I open my eyes, I'm like, ah, doing one of those as loud
Yeah.
as I can, and then doing like a ah until I start to kind of, warm it up a little bit, and then I'll just kind of sing. I'll throw on some music and then just sing and try
Yeah.
to like sing as loud as I can or as soft
Okay.
as I can, and then hit like my my chest voice, my head voice, I'll just
Yeah.
try to work each, part. And then usually on my way to the gigs, I don't sing. I
Mm,
just I just
okay.
kind of do like because a lot of times our gigs are pretty far.
Right.
I do like a mental break,
Yeah.
and then I just kind of center myself on the way to a gig and just relax and try to relax my vocals and prepare for it mentally. And so, yeah, that's typically
Yeah.
what I do. But
Yeah. Now, can you tell my audience, as far as like using your head voice
oh, I'm getting
versus
some
you getting a
not
little static,
feedback, but it's.
a little static? That could just be the
Can
wind
you hear
blowing
me?
there.
Oh, hold on.
There you
It says
go.
it's trying to connect.
Yes, it's reconnecting on my end.
I don't know if it's me.
Yeah, it says reconnecting.
Oh, wait, there we go. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Now, I was asking you as far as using your head voice, or describe how you would do that in a particular song. When to use it and when not to.
Usually if it's a higher range,
Okay.
so I would have to switch, so like a that it would be like a
Yeah.
softer. So my head voice it's a softer and it's more breathy.
Yeah.
So if I'm hitting the higher notes, those are usually and then anything below I can get into my chest voice in here. So those are the
Yeah.
strokes that usually blow your guys' ears out. Your eardrums
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I wanted to ask you this because Uh, yeah, I know you sang with the Latin band Sandu.
Yes,
Uh,
on Daniel.
when you hooked up with Forward Motion, uh, and you were inundated with a bunch of songs, what was your study process to digest all those songs?
The good thing is that the majority of the songs I already
Uh,
knew.
okay.
If it wasn't, yeah, if I hadn't already sang them, I definitely knew them from the radio or just from liking those songs
Yeah.
because a lot of the songs that you guys or that we do in Forward Motion um, are focused around funk, R&B,
Yeah.
pop, stuff that I grew up listening to. Even
Right.
you always make fun of me and call me the what is it that you call me? The
The
human
human juke,
or
the
human
human
jukebox.
jukebox. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
human jukebox. And it's true because since I've loved music since I was a kid, I would
Yeah.
just like attach myself to songs and then I would
Yeah.
listen to albums based on that song, that artist.
Yeah.
Um, even as far back as like I remember being in junior high and going to the school dances and listening to like Zapp and Roger or Ohio Players or they would play so many different types of music at school events and stuff and I would
Right.
hear them and I would be like, "Oh, I really like that." And I don't know if most kids or teenagers are like this, where we all kind of grew up listening to the same stuff, and if it resonated the way it did with me, with them, because it takes me back to like those days. But
Right.
we're doing stuff like Cutie Pie, right? Right
Yeah.
now we're doing Cutie Pie, and I'm like, my gosh, this takes me back to like fifth grade. Being at a dance and listening to the song and liking it and thinking, oh my gosh, this is such a good song. Never did I ever think that in my 40s I would be singing
Right.
this song on tape. But I always think like, does everybody remember these songs the way I do? I don't know, but I feel like maybe I just had an ear for music and just would pick up songs right away.
Yeah.
So when I have a long list of songs that you may not think I know, and I'm like, oh, I know that one, oh, I know that one. I may
Yeah.
have never sang them, but I
Right.
definitely know them. So that makes it easier when practicing or rehearsing or learning songs. Um, so yeah, I feel like my process is if I get like a long list of songs, I create a Spotify playlist
Okay.
and then I just play it whenever I'm in the car, especially on long trips. I'll just play
Mm.
it through and then I'll start to kind of pick it up just from listening to it.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
usually,
That's cool because I ask that question often. Uh, because the way I digest a lot of stuff, usually I do the same thing. I make a list, a playlist, and even before I even play the piano or just start picking out parts, I just listen to it. I just
hmm
let it just get into my spirit and just kind of like, okay, I hear. And then there's a gentleman that I've known for about 40 years, and he was telling me that there are times where you can listen to music, and if you listen to it I hate to use this word, but the right way, you can just about find out the key and actually just play it in your head. So he was teaching me those things. And now when I hear it, I can kind of, you know, like pick out the little parts pretty easy. So, but I
Yeah,
was wondering about that. So you do the same thing, pretty much the Spotify
I
list and
do. I do. And I realize, I guess one of my flaws too is I'm so used to always, I don't want to say always singing lead, but when I start to listen to a song, I'm listening for the lead.
ah,
And then I have to remind myself, you may not be singing lead on this song.
yeah,
You may have to be singing backgrounds. So then I need to go back and kind of put a different cap on and then listen to just the backgrounds and not focus on the lead. So it's almost like I have to
mm,
take the song in multiple parts, like multiple ways of listening to it. Because
yeah,
when I listen to it with the intention of learning the lead, I try to
uh,
focus solely on the lead. Then when I listen to it to try to learn background vocals, I have to listen solely to background vocals. Now the problem with that is sometimes I don't know which part I'm going to be singing because
Right.
like between for forward motion between Felicia and I, we don't necessarily have a we don't necessarily have a like map where we say you're always going to be doing soprano and I'm
Yeah.
always going to be sorry and
No,
I'm
you
always
good.
going to be doing alto. Sometimes we swap, flip flop. It just,
Right.
we just kind of come up with that on the spot. So I'm always having to go back and say, okay, I'm going to learn the soprano part, then I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to learn the alto part,
Yeah.
top of the lead. So then it's like you're learning it three different ways.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so while we're speaking of the background, tell my audience how important the background
Oh,
singers are. I mean, because I'll let you talk about it. Go ahead.
it's extremely important. It's kind of really what makes the song.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of harmonies going on in the background, it makes the song so much more full and it brings it to life. So if you're just singing the lead, and I get that sometimes people can't do backgrounds because they don't have the extra, they don't have
Yeah.
capabilities for it.
Right.
That's why it's so nice with forward motion, essentially having four-part backgrounds because between you,
Yeah.
Mark, Rod, and then either Felicia or myself,
Yeah.
having four people on vocals aside from the lead, I think that's really what sets us apart from other bands. Um,
Okay.
because when you listen back to the recordings, you hear the difference. It
Right.
almost gives chills sometimes when it's like we're all singing together and just
Yeah.
it sounds so full. It sounds so brought to life. They're very important, extremely important.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna, for my artists, I'm gonna be honest. I'm usually doing a few oohs and ahs. I don't be singing that hard. These guys be carrying me.
But
Not
there are times
appreciated.
where I turn around and you're fully singing. So, but yes, I
I
get
be
that.
trying. I be
I
trying.
get
But
that.
I love it though, and I appreciate
But
you guys because
yeah, any little bit that you do, it makes a difference.
yeah, because with me being such a church person, I can give out parts and stuff like that. But when it comes down to singing, I can tell you what key you're in and all that great
Yeah.
stuff. Anyway,
But that's the same thing with me having a choir background.
yeah.
It's like you want to hear all the parts because you're so
Okay.
used to that, you know? Yeah. Especially
All
when we
right.
do big songs like Boogie Wonderland, where it's so
Yeah.
busy and there's so many things, so many parts going on. It really, that's why you don't hear a lot of other people singing it because
Yeah. That's true.
it's not easy.
That's true. And then
Yeah,
we try to cover it with just four people.
exactly. And I
And
think we do a good job doing
I
it.
think actually, look, it's sad if a dog can't wag his own tail. So I'll be honest with you. If you guys ever find a recording of us doing that, I think we do a pretty good job because we pick out the important parts of the song and we make it happen. But
Yes.
now I want to segue into this because uh, this has really been happening a lot, and uh, I want to talk about the AI music and
Mm.
how the music has shifted. Now I won't hold you any longer than a few more minutes, but I want you to expound upon your true belief on AI. How is it making a difference? Uh, should we keep using AI to run the whole show, or do we just kind of just use a little bit of it to get ideals?
I think using a little is ideal. I
Okay.
think when you start to take away actual, people playing an instrument, I think it just takes away. Yes, it's as easy as, typing in what instruments you want, what you want the lyrics to sound like, or,
Yeah.
but it takes away from the creativity. People kind of yearn for that, you sit there,
Right.
you have a thought, and you're just like, oh, I got to get this down,
Yeah.
and I feel like it steals people of their creativity. I
So
know
do
for people who don't have that creative, phone but want to make music, it's helpful.
Yeah.
It's helpful,
Okay.
but then what are you going to do with that? What if the song, becomes a hit? Are you just going to
Right.
stand on a stage and press play?
Right.
How are you
Yeah.
going to play that live ever? Like, yeah, I don't know, that kind of stuff, it doesn't make sense to me, but I think it's
Yeah.
helpful in
Yeah.
some way.
I'm on the fence with it because, like we mentioned songs like Cutie Pie, the Roger Troutman, Zap, My
Mm,
Girl, all these type of songs. They're 40, 50-year old and they're still standing. We're doing these
exactly.
songs. But the AI songs, you know, I wonder how long they're going to last.
Right.
I mean, the staying power. And
Right.
I always look at it this way. If somebody unplugged my keyboard, you know, I'm not saying I'm the best piano player, but I can do a whole show with just the piano.
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Because then live music, you can't do that with AI.
yeah.
So,
So I wanted to get your take on it, and I'm not going to hold you up, but we have to do a part two because the thing
yeah.
I want to dive into you're writing music now, and I know you've been doing it for a little while. And I
Yes.
want to talk about the writing process because I know everybody have a different way of writing.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
know you just got in from Palm Springs, so I want
Yeah.
you to get a little rest and everything. Ladies
Sounds
and gentlemen, give it up for my good friend Betina. I
good.
love her so much. She is one of the sweetest persons. And I want to say this before we go. You know, there's some people who can sing and have gifts, but when you build a relationship, it makes the music a little easier and we can work with each other a little bit better. Would you
Absolutely.
agree with me on that?
Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're
Any
welcome.
any words or advice to people who are trying to start singing and who are doing this business?
Yes. It's not always about the voice. It's
Mm,
really about the passion and
okay.
everything that you put into it, the time, the energy. Sometimes people don't go to your show because it's just your voice, it's your energy that you're giving to the crowd,
Yeah.
dance, or it's a whole package. So don't get so caught up on maybe not being like the best singer because you still have so much to offer. Um, yeah. I always tell
Man.
people when they say, I wish I can sing. I'm like, you can. You have a voice. You can
Mm,
sing. Oh, but
right.
I don't sound good. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's about the passion. You feel it.
Yeah.
Don't let that stop you from singing. So,
Yeah. All
yeah,
right. Well, man, I appreciate that.
of course.
Bettina, thank you so much. And
You're
I'll be
welcome.
seeing you real soon.
Yes.
All right. Take care
Okay.
of yourself. Peace,
Take care.
baby. All right.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.